You got a story the world needs to hear, a spark inside that's crystal clear. No more hiding in the digital crowd. It's time to stand up, speak out loud. Every dream starts with a single sound. Your message matters, let it resound. The spotlight's waiting, the mic is yours. Step into the moment, open the doors. Your voice, your vision, your stage. Turn the page, ignite the rage. From whispers to waves, let your truth engage. Your voice, your vision, your stage. You try to post, you played the game, but real connection needs more than fame. Live stream lights, a story told. That's where your brand turns bold. This is more than checking screens. It's building trust, fulfilling dreams. Your audience is ready. They want to see the real you in authenticity. Your voice, your vision, your stage. Claim the space, set the pace. From ideas to impact, let the world embrace your voice, your vision, your stage. Your voice, your vision, your stage. Turn the page, ignite the rage. From whispers to waves, let your truth engage. Your voice, your vision, your stage.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new social live stream. We are trying something new today. We are exclusively meeting and introducing Skool community members as well as Substack community members. I am so happy and to welcome all of you. I'm glad that you're here. For those who are joining in the chat, today's live session is dedicated to people who are making the Skool community more than just a platform. It's more than just community builders, the creators, and those who are members experiencing what Skool has to offer. I thought that I would reach out and give back to the Skool community members. I've joined Skool in January. It was January 4th when I embarked on building my very own community. And very quickly, I started to recognize the power of community, especially here on the Skool platform. Now, it's not to say that other community platforms aren't doing the same, but this is my first experience building a community. And I'm hoping that today's event sparks something that will continue to evolve and to grow. I wanted to give an opportunity to showcase not myself, but really open the stage, have an open mic session that helps Skool community owners, members, even non-members. I've opened this up to Skool community builders who are not members of my community. I want to allow them an opportunity to share the stage with me and tell us a little bit about their community. So we're going to give this a whirl. It may not be perfect the first time, but we're going to be persistent and we're going to show up consistently. We're going to plan these better differently so that we bring the most value to Skool community members and those who are members who participate in Skool communities, not necessarily owners, but participants who are getting an experience like no other by participating and engaging in respective communities. I have a good friend of mine here up on stage with me. I want to welcome Mike LeBlanc. Mike, your mic is muted. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir, and you just happened to land on a subject I'm passionate about, which is community building. And I am new to Skool as you are, and I jumped over to your Skool community. Number one, because we're already connected, but I am passionate about community building, and particularly the couple things I see in Skool. I just want to point out to those that may not be familiar is that what I call textual permanence or asynchronous communication. Mike, stop getting so technical. What are you talking about? I need a way in any community I am building to keep up with people between shows. So, how do you do that? Well, you need, in my opinion, and textual works best maybe for this because it's rapid. You can do, the ability to have the threads. I think is important, and then you just, you as the community builder can kind of set the stage as to, pardon the pun, on how you want to set that up and then let the community run with it. And I think you're going to be surprised, and maybe you already are, about how that actually rolls out and how passionate and how engaged community members become when you give them that chance. So that's the one thing that I like about Skool. The other is the gamification, which you've made, I think, good use of. And last but not least, the classroom stuff, which again, there's tons of ways to get this information out. And you can have webinars and all that stuff. There's, like I said, it's really things are happening so fast. There's so many different platforms and stuff out there. But I think that you're making good use of the classroom tech too.
And
So
one of the
kudos.
one of the important things for me is that the classroom be provided in plain language. Um, when it comes to live streaming, many people get overwhelmed with the fact that they're not familiar with tech, they're not comfortable with tech. I'm trying to make it as plain as possible and not fill it with technical jargon. And each time that someone raises a question, I'm now starting to populate um, assets in the learning library so that people can go in, take a listen, and just feel comfortable and help them lower their barriers to entry so that they don't feel as overwhelmed when it comes to creating live content strategies. So, trying my best. There will be times where perhaps we need to be technical just because that's the only way to explain things. But I'm going to try to the best of my ability to keep this as uh, plain and easy to understand for those who find themselves overwhelmed. Now, just want to remind everyone we are streaming live across LinkedIn, Substack, as well as YouTube. Anyone listening to this event live, feel free to drop in a comment. Let us know where you're joining from. If you have questions, feel free to drop those in the comments as well. I am looking forward to having this event, perhaps testing different time slots just to see which one resonates best and brings the most membership out for engagement. So we tried today at 1 p.m. It may or may not work, but we're going to have assets that we'll be able to repurpose. So, as mentioned, let's if you like what you hear, or if you feel that there's something you'd like to hear in future events, I'd love to hear those in the comments. Drop them. This is a exclusive event, although we're streaming across multiple platforms. this is a dedicated event for school community builders. And I also brought in Substack as a key focus because there's a member and a community builder, Jill Hart, who wanted to be here today, was unable to join us as some, life gets in the way, and we all understand that. But she leads a community that is focused on helping school members build and scale by leveraging Substack. And we know that there are community members among us who just absolutely love Substack. So I thought this was an ideal opportunity to bring both platforms together and talk a little bit about both of those platforms. Now, why don't you share a little bit about us? I know you don't have a school community, but you are an active participant here on your stage. Tell us a little bit about who you are and the value that you bring, because I know you bring tremendous value to our community. You have some exciting and pivotal moments of your professional journey that are unfolding as we speak. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. My name is Mike LeBlanc. I was previously in cybersecurity for a number of years, 13 of those as a CISO. I am pivoting out of cybersecurity for reasons that we won't go into right now. And I'm pivoting into a passion of mine. I've been writing and involved in the music scene for quite a bit of my life. And when I was looking back at this, I had forgotten how much, like I was in choirs in grade school and then high school. I actually got to sing in a 350 voice choir, and then actually led worship at a church for a number of years. And I had forgotten all of that because I got busy with the job scene in cyber. So I think one of the things I bring into for folks that are interested is um, taking your story and converting that into song. And I've done that for a number of people pro bono, and I'm now seeking to actually monetize that. So that's one thing. So, for example, I just wrote a birthday song for my stepson's wife, and she was very touched by that. I've written a number of tribute songs recently that I've released, and I don't know if you've seen those, Americo, but including our very own Keith Keller. I wrote one for him that he probably doesn't remember. But so the business is going to be kind of twofold. I'm going to be writing what I'm calling my songs, which is I'm going to be releasing to the public and for sale on Bandcamp and such. And then I'm starting a business that I'm calling Signature Soundworks, which is basically saying, do you need like intros and outros to your podcast, or do you need a jingle or whatever for a conference you're putting on, or more personally, do you have an event coming up like a anniversary or birthday or engagement or whatever? I can work with you to create a custom song for you. And so I was happy and got excited when you asked to create an anthem for our our school community. That was a lot of fun, actually.
It was fun, and I could tell that you had fun. And it's we have selected the one that really pulled at my heartstrings. That one will be exclusively played and contained and kept in our community. But you had a few iterations, and I have one queued up. Actually, I have a few queued up that I'd like to play back. And started to queue them up because you're going to be spotlighted on one of my upcoming live events next week, and I wanted to have some of those ready to go. But they're in the studio now, and why don't we take a pause and listen to one of the versions that you prepared for us? This is a rock version, and listen, I just want to be able to showcase your work and let others hear what you're able to do. This is a rock genre, and I know you create multiple genres and you customize these to fit so nicely into um, the theme or into the ask. People will probably share with you the intention, the emotion that they want into their song, and they'll share part of their narrative, and you'll engineer a song that, from what I hear, and each time you share a story of someone that you prepared a piece of music for, everyone gets touched because you just nail it in terms of the sentimentality, the emotion, and you, you draw the music and the lyrics that places those who are listening at a place, at a memory that they have of their loved ones or of a milestone that they're celebrating. So let's play a rock version here that I have ready to go. Uh, where?
Welcome in, grab a seat, yeah, the crew's all here. It's another weekly moment where we all appear. From the stories we share to the dreams we empower, we're building big energy, hour by hour. Some rolling with coffee, some rolling with cheer. But we all show up, 'cause we love it here. In the offstage community, where your voice comes alive and your vision runs free. It's a happy hour hangout, a coffee hour vibe, where we laugh, learn, and lift each other up inside. And when the chat lights up, hey, that's our way. We bring the heat, bring the heart to the Q&A. Every week's a new beat, every call's a fresh stage, where beginners and pros vibe on the same page. Turning sparks into fire, fear into flow. Hit that unread button, come on, let it go. Raise your mug, raise your mind, raise your voice tonight. Where a spotlight, family shining real, shining bright. Celebrate the wins, elevate the pain. We turn it into power again and again. In the offstage community, where we show up bold and we show up uniquely. It's a happy hour hangout, a coffee hour drive. Baby, live it, breathe it, mastermind vibes. So drop your jams, drop your truth, lead the way, 'cause the magic always hits in the Q&A.
I think we're going to try that off of mute. There's one of the many versions that you put together for us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what goes behind the scenes trying to craft music, lyrics, and trying to get it to fit into someone's narrative?
Well, I actually want to tell the story behind this. So, Americo had some lyrics, or at least a chorus, for this, and he had asked some of us to see what we could come up with. And so what I try to do, and particularly with this one, is like, okay, so and Americo, and actually, I didn't really talk about the lyrics before I wrote them. We had, he had his version of the chorus, and I think some of his own lyrics, but those lyrics are actually semi different. But there was a few things that I wanted to bring out, like the happy hour hangout, the Q&A, the feeling of community, and what America was really trying to do with this particular community, the Skool community, and really make it your stage. And so, when you listen and look at the lyrics, that's what the focus is. So that's part of that's the beginning of the lyrical journey. The other thing is that I want to make the lyrics, to your point, I do want to evoke some emotion, because you know that to me, that's what holds you. So, particularly if we're going to play this every week, and people aren't familiar with the community, this is an intro to the community, and maybe give them a bit of a feel, and pull them in, because I think we do want to raise each other up. I think that's sort of to me anyway, that's sort of maybe a higher priority of the community. And so there's a lot of sort of emotion and research, and work that goes into this stuff, even before sit down. Then I think I mentioned this before, but I have a tool that helps me. It doesn't write the lyrics for me, but it helps me step through the storytelling process. I had attended a storytelling webinar, and I actually turned that into an assistant. So it actually helps me step through, like the emotion, the time, the place, and so that kind of helps me give the format, and then I start writing the lyrics. Now, one of the things I've really been focusing on, and you touched on this, is I really want to match the lyrics with the genre. That's a little harder. And then I've spent quite a bit of time learning how to prompt Suno, and actually I've used a couple other ones, other tools too, that I don't like as much as Suno. But so you have to learn how to prompt Suno, and there's things like the beats per minute and the key, and then the instrument production. Basically, a lot of people don't understand, at least if you're doing it to the level I am, that you're actually producing the song. Even though AI is making it, you're actually producing it. There's a lot of work that goes into that.
That's listen, we're going to go into more detail on some of that next Thursday. I want to jump in and share the importance, at least from my lens and my perspective, because I really pride myself on hosting, producing, creating live stream events that are immersive, engaging, but more importantly, offer an experience for those attending that perhaps keeps them engaged right from the get-go. And the one thing that I see, and I understand it happens to me, it happens to everyone. There are times where the tech gremlins get the best of you, no matter how much testing you do. And that's going to happen. And we may not be able to foolproof the event and prevent those tech gremlins from ever creeping up or showing up. But the one thing that I see as an opportunity, and I see the intros filling in that gap, I often see some of my peers or others who perhaps I don't have any acquaintance with going live, and they're troubleshooting in real time. And I know I advocate for, hey, there's no shame in troubleshooting in real time. Just let your audience know what's going on, keep them apprised of what's transpiring. But when you go live, you hit that go live button, and the troubleshooting that your audience sees is you trying to figure out if whether or not you're live. That's where the intro is just a wonderful piece of um, I was going to say mechanics. It just fits in nicely because it gives the host an opportunity to troubleshoot and making sure that all the channels that they're pushing their content to is live, and you get to do it behind the scenes. You have the music, you have a video. It keeps your audience engaged, keeps your audience um, aware that there's something coming. You can add a countdown, like I typically add a countdown just so they know how much time to anticipate before you go live. And in some cases, different platforms have a lag of, some would say 10 seconds, some will say as much as 45 seconds, depending on where you find yourself geographically, where you find yourself in your own studio, and what kind of bandwidth you're dealing with, what kind of service you're dealing with. So it'll vary, and there's no better way than to mask that or provide a seamless experience so that your viewers aren't witnessing your panic, your glazed look on your eyes that, hey, we're trying to figure out if we're live here. And you have, in some cases, hosts and guests, and they're having a conversation on whether or not things are happening in real time. And I think there's an opportunity to make that experience just that much better by implementing an intro. And there are those who do it for that exact reason. Others would say they do it just to increase dwell time. Hey, there's no right or wrong answer here, but I'm specifically zeroing in on providing a seamless entry into the live stream, and no better way to do it than with an intro. I've dabbled in creating intros myself. You've cleaned up some of my intros. The one that I opened today's show, I created late last year, and uh, listen, it is not easy for anyone who thinks they can just jump on Suno, copy and paste some lyrics, or copy and paste an idea as a prompt. Let me tell you, the the product that comes out of it is just atrocious. At least it has been for me, and it takes a lot of work. And you have it figured out. You understand the tech. You understand the lyrics, the music, and you bring it all together so seamlessly. And I encourage anyone who is interested in hearing more about Mike's offering to reach out, connect with Mike. You can find him on Substack as well as LinkedIn and anywhere else people can find you.
At the moment, and that's the place, obviously, in our community at Skool.
Mm.
But I wanted to mention a couple things. The I think people underestimate the complexity, and I actually want I can interview you a little bit. I don't think people understand the complexity of running a show, and particularly like you said, you're like, if particularly if you're waiting for your guest, I think it's a perfect place, maybe even to do a quick sound check, right? So you know, keep them in the green room, or work out as many of the tech gremlins as you can. And I also find, and I don't know if you've thought about this, and I'd be interested to hear your response. I think it's not just dwell time, but because of the complexities and scheduling and everything, when things are starting up, I think it's a good, I don't even know what you want to call it, a spacer to gather both yourself and the audience together. Because sometimes, to your point, things are lagging across the platforms or whatever. I think this serves as a good, almost like a visual and and musical vestibule to gather. And then, to your point, I think it's also good to have that countdown, so there's an expectation of, okay, I kind of have my act together, and we're going to start in X. And so you're kind of setting up expectations. I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts on that.
It's I'm glad you asked because I've had multiple conversations where some people have suggested or you know kindly disagreed with my thought as to why you want it. There are believers, hey, you want to be quick, swift. You don't want to waste your audience or your community's time. You got to start on time and just get the ball rolling. And yeah, I totally appreciate and respect the fact that you want to start on time. And I think starting on time is important. You want to respect to those who have uh, carved that time, but you don't want just by virtue of starting on time, you don't want that to be troubleshooting or trying to figure out the tech and whether or not you're syncing with all your channels. You're still starting on time. You're respecting your community and your attendees' time by getting that intro up and running. Uh, I think it's extremely important to understand that each show, each subject matter that's being discussed, and each audience and community that you're creating and developing a show may have different expectations. So when I'm trying to answer your question as vaguely yet as succinctly as possible, because I will work with people and have guests who are very adamant. Hey, I need us to start on time. Um, can we, leave out uh, any of the fluff? Because I want to make the most out of this time to be able to discuss our subject matter, or I want to be able to carve out enough time for Q&A. I don't want to run out of time and not be able to answer the questions for those. So that really comes down to, all right, let's have an intro to give us that buffer to ensure our tech is in order, but respect the fact that, hey, an intro might have to be shorter because you're looking to meet the needs of the speaker that you're working with, or the customer that you're working with. So there's no one size fits all, but it's important, and I still think there's value in having that intro rather than just turning on the switch and there you are live. It just gives it more flow, and it gives it more social credibility that we have our things and our act together. We're just not flying by the seat of our pants. If you demonstrate that you have it together, and sometimes it's these small nuances, an intro, or just having your slides, your transitions, your bottom thirds all queued up so that you don't feel like you're scrambling at any given time. Because you are right, Mike. This takes a lot of work to plan, to promote, to get people engaging in these events, and to develop relationships over time. Because we can turn on the switch and have a pop-up. Like today, I would consider a pop-up event. And typically, I tell people, don't expect much from a pop-up event. You got to warm up your crowd. You got to prime your community to let them know that one show is maybe kicking off a series or a sequence of events, so that as they start to warm up over time, this is a long tail strategy. Over time, people will start to show up. And if I compare today's event to other series that I've hosted, very similar experience. I kind of knew simply from what I've done in the past that although there was a lot of excitement around what I was hosting today, I kind of had that feeling that not everyone was ready or the time was going to be right. But we're going to get this sorted out. We're going to take this digital asset and repurpose it just to build and continue to develop the momentum, so that when people come, they feel the value that this show will provide. Because I do want to carve, as part of my community building, I do want to provide some level of philanthropy where I can give back and allow other community members, other community builders to showcase themselves and allow me to demonstrate what I can do during a live stream. So more to come as we kind of build on this idea. I took it upon myself to host this idea outside of the Skool platform, intentionally and on purpose, so that non-members of my community had the opportunity to participate, and not members and non-members had an opportunity to introduce themselves to my social network. So I'm I'm happy with the fact that you showed up and yet you were part of this. I would have tried to talk to myself by myself as long as I could to keep the value in today's event present. But hey, as I said, this will evolve over time.
Well, you touched on a couple things I just want to key in on. The one is the reuse. I don't think we can underestimate the power of reuse, and this is a perfect segue into Substack, because I just feel that Substack and Skool are kind of a marriage made in heaven, meaning that you can create things and then drive traffic, either vice versa, either from Substack to Skool, or Skool to Substack, depending on what you're doing. And when we're talking about asset reuse, I'm struggling, Americo, and you can tell me different. I don't know of any other platform that has that level of freedom, so to speak, of pushing assets to other platforms. So that's why I'm kind of excited about Substack. Is yes, it's a great place if you're a writer or a poet, which I do, or I'm trying to show my wares relative to my new business. But I think the power in Substack, to me, yes, it's an awesome platform in and of itself for users on Substack itself, but the power to me is the ability to push that out to all of these other platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what Substack is offering. The fact that it started off and continues to be primarily focused on the writer and those who consume written content. And for that reason, I kind of turned a blind eye to it for the longest time because if asked, writing isn't something I would say I choose to do or I enjoy doing. Um, and reading, probably not my go-to to as a learning um, tool. I'd rather learn as we do through engagement in some of the events that we host and we guest on. Um, so I kind of turned a blind eye to it, and it wasn't until late last year that we started to hear more and more creators talking about it, and so I gave it a try. To be honest with you, I wasn't any good at it, and I wouldn't consider myself being good today, but better than when I started. And really about for me, using Substack to meet community members where they enjoy hanging out and consuming content. So now I have a place where I can take the digital assets from a live stream and repurpose it, whether it is in a blog, in an article, or just an executive summary as to what transpired. And for those who perhaps can't invest or prefer not to invest the time listening to an entire hour of conversation, they can now find a summary written and shared on Substack. Of course, with a call to action that points anyone in the direction who want to listen to the asset, points them over to YouTube where they can listen to the entire asset. I did at one point include the replay and embedded it in the article, but I felt like, you know what, this isn't the intended purpose. I will broadcast and stream live, and those who attend live get to be part of the conversation. But once the live is over, then Substack will exclusively be for written content, and it's gotten better. I'm now in a good position. I'm happy with the engagement that I'm getting, and I'm happy with the value that the shows are now offering on Substack, and that will continue to evolve. And at a future event when we have Jill Hart able to join us, uh, she'll be able to share all the wonderful things that she's providing in her Skool community for anyone looking to leverage and grow their presence and scale their presence on Substack. A lot of great things going on there. So I will look forward to having her here on stage with us to showcase what she's doing, what she's building, and I'll kind of let her kind of share that when the time is right. Now, with regards to time, I know we schedule this for an hour, and sometimes we don't fill the hour. I don't want us talking just for the sake of talking to fill an hour. I think this has been a fabulous entry point for what we're trying to build here. Want to be able to savor what we've discussed. Want to be able to close the show with another iteration, another version of your stage community anthem that you created. And we'll close that off, and we'll move towards working on repurposing this asset across different channels. And it'll also find its way through in the Skool community so that everyone is made aware of what took place and what to look forward to in the future. So before we queue up the closing anthem, anything you'd like to share in closing, Mike?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, if people are not familiar with either Skool or Substack, really take a look. Particularly if you're trying to build out a community or a show. I think there are challenges of doing lives, particularly if you're doing it by yourself. And so if you're really wanting to engage with your community after the live, I think it's an important to find a way to do that. And as I mentioned before, and what Americo just talked about, is being able to repurpose these assets, because Americo says it well, finding or reaching out to the audience where they are, and meeting them there, I think, is important. And again, I think Substack allows you to do that very well. So that's what I got for you. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, thank you for joining me, and we'll queue up the thank you slide here, and we'll play another iteration. This is a continues to be a rock genre, but I think this is further, maybe more 90s, like this version as well. And after the song, we'll close the room and stick around in studio, Mike, and we'll continue this conversation. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.
Welcome in, grab a seat, yeah, the crew's all here. It's another weekly moment where we all appear. From the stories we share to the dreams we empower, we're building big energy hour by hour. Some roll in with coffee, some roll in with cheer, but we all show up 'cause we love it here. In the stage community, where your voice comes alive and your vision runs free. It's a happy hour, hangout, a coffee hour vibe, where we laugh, learn, and lift each other up inside. And when the chat lights up, hey, that's our way. We bring the heat, bring the heart to the Q&A. Yeah. Every week's a new beat, every call's a fresh stage, where beginners and pros vibe on the same page, turning sparks into fire, fear into flow. Hit that unmute button, come on, let it go. Raise your mug, raise your mind, raise your voice tonight. We're a spotlight, family shining, real shining bright. Celebrate the wins, elevate the pain. We turn it into power again and again.